The wrestling collecting hobby and artwork? Yes, we'll be talking about that and more on this week's CollectAWrestlePalooza mailbag video.
CollectAWrestlePalooza. CollectAWrestlePalooza.
Welcome to CollectAWrestlePalooza. This is Tom. If this is your first time watching the channel, welcome. Thank you for the support. I am a man in my 40s. I recently got back into collecting wrestling cards, wrestling action figures, VHS, all things 80s and 90s pop culture. And this week I'm going to start by featuring a piece of art. And this is a piece of art that I myself made. People that watch my channel know I do have a degree in finance. I got my MBA and I use that to try to inform healthy collecting hobbies. I do think that it's important to be informed. If you are running a business, you should at least know the basic concepts so you don't get in over your head or don't do something you're going to regret later. So I try to use my background in business more just to inform myself. I'm not trying to make a huge profit or make a living off this. I just want to make sure that I'm staying healthy. But prior to being trained in business, I did go to school for art. I do have my MFA from a liberal arts university in the Northeast with a focus in studio art, painting, drawing, mixed media, and contemporary theory. So recently, while watching a WWF video from the 80s or 90s, I created a piece of artwork. And it was a piece of artwork. I haven't made one in a while. It depicts the Ultimate Warrior. Here it is. And I did recently post this on my eBay store. So if you're looking for something to do, check out CollectAWrestlePalooza on eBay. It is items from my collection. I try to keep things moving more just to perpetuate the hobby. Sometimes I sell over comps, sometimes I sell under comps. You never know what you're going to find in the store. Moving along, I am also going to be opening up a box this week. This is a box of, I believe, slabs that I received recently. So let's get into that. All right, let's see what we have here. It does look like 3 or 4 slabs wrapped up in bubble wrap. I don't own many Owen Hart cards. Folks know that he tragically died in the ring while trying to perform a stunt as the Blue Blazer, so therefore just an important figure to collect in the history of wrestling. Like I said, I don't have any Owen Harts. This one, it just looks nice in a slab. It is only a PSA 5, but I do like buying slabbed cards just because the presentation, and it makes it a little more special. Maybe going back to my training in art, it's somewhat like a frame. And this is a nice card from a nice series. The 1992 Merlin Gold, I believe, are pretty scarce. And what a nice representation of 1990s wrestling. He's wearing the checkerboards. The Hart family got back together at this point. I know Jim the Anvil Neidhart was in this stable as well with Owen, and they all had that fabulous 1990s fluorescent checkerboard design on their clothing. So this one, like I said, PSA 5, 1992 Merlin Gold, Owen Hart. What bigger star than Hulk Hogan? When I collect Hulk Hogan cards, there are 2 things I look for. I look for cards either from the 1980s, the classic Hulkamania, say your prayers, eat your vitamins stage of Hulk Hogan. I think that that's just classic, and any card you can pick up from that era is one worth holding for the long term. And the other one is oddball cards, particularly from the Hollywood Hogan or the NWO run. That was one of the most important transitions in wrestling history when Hulk Hogan turned into a heel. If you didn't live through that, you can't understand how big that was to have the biggest babyface ever in the sport become one of the most hated heels in the sport. Used to spray paint opponents, had the NWO belt that was spray painted with Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, and all of those guys just were great heels in the industry. And this one is from the Hollywood Hogan era. The other thing it has going for it is it's from Bandai, which is a Japanese card release. You don't see them as much. Very nice representation of Hogan. And it is a mint 9, and I was able to pick it up for a very inexpensive price. Next slab here is another Japanese card. The 1982 BBM or Baseball Magazine cards. You see them a lot on eBay now. I think folks are selling them off because the hobby is down, but I think that these are really great cards to target. I don't think that they're incredibly abundant, and they're very, very attractive. And what bigger sleeper star than Bruiser Brody, King Kong Brody? People that don't know, he was famously killed in Puerto Rico by one of the masked superstars. I forget who actually killed him. There's a lot of controversy around it with Carlos Colon and a lot of the goons from that era in Puerto Rico. It was pretty lawless times, but just beloved by fans. He had a really stiff style, was brawling, one of the first hardcore wrestlers, and just amazing, amazing matches. If you want to see a great old school stiff match, watch an old Bruiser Brody match from Puerto Rico or the AWA or some of the other federations he was in. I think he was in World Class Championship Wrestling for a while as well. So this is a 1982 card, folks. I mean, 1982 is some early cards. This was before the mass production era of cards. So I like to collect cards pre-1985 because that's when production runs really started to go up. This is from a magazine, so people would have had to rip it out of the magazine, perforate it, all of those various things. So I feel like finding them in good condition is difficult, and it's just a great image. And the final slab this week, another 1982 BBM card. This one is Dory Funk Jr., who I believe is Terry Funk's father, or at least part of the Funk family. If you do know what the relationship is exactly, please leave a comment. But I picked this one up again because it was the same seller selling off 82 BBMs, and this one I believe was under $5. So just a steal at that price for one of the original Funk family wrestlers, Dory Funk Jr., very attractive card from Japan, same scarcity as the Bruiser Brody. So that's it, folks. Thank you for supporting the channel. I hope you gained something by watching this week, or even just found some inspiration to keep looking for gems in your collection. Keep buying wrestling cards, stay active in the hobby, and have a great week.
CollectAWrestlePalooza. CollectAWrestlePalooza.